Have you ever thought about joy as being a point of view, as being something that you're looking out to? Have you ever thought of joy in this way? Sure, I mean, the dictionary defines it as feeling of great pleasure and happiness. We often associate it with the absence of sadness or turmoil or the presence of maybe the extraordinary in our lives. But joy, spiritual joy, is more than just a feeling. As we read through the Bible, if we read closely enough, we begin to catch the story plainly before us, and we see that before it's ever a feeling, joy is a focus. We began with a story about the birth of Christ, but I want to bring in another story that's right before the death of Christ. I want you to listen to these words and see if something jumps out at you. It comes from Hebrews chapter 12. We were talking about this just a couple of weeks ago, but at verse 2, it says this. He says these words: "We are looking to Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith, who for the sake of the joy that was set before him endured the cross, disregarding its shame, and has taken his seat at the right hand of the throne of God." For the sake of the joy that was set before him. For the sake of the joy that was set before him. Biblical scholar and preacher Fred Craddock, Dr. Fred Craddock, he said that these words clearly refer to what is in prospect rather than what is in possession. What is in prospect rather than what is in possession. It presents what he calls the forward-looking nature of faith. I love that. The forward-looking nature of faith. Jesus looked forward to the joy. He looked beyond the cross. He looked beyond the shame, beyond the hate, to cresting that point. Jesus didn't find the feeling of joy as he's sitting there suffering on the cross. He wasn't finding joy in the mocking or in the insults. The joy wasn't a feeling of no sadness as he was enduring this unfathomable pain. No, he found joy in the outcome, in the finished goal, in what he was the completion. Not in the event of his suffering and death, but in the outcome of this event. The cleansing of our sinful souls and the promise of eternity with God. His joy was in his focus. He did this for the sake of the joy that was set before him, ahead of him.